this situation. If your friend has lung cancer now, regardless of what you feel about he or she, how he or she got it, right? Once you find out that they're ill, you wish and hope and try to save them, right? You get them into treatment. You help them try to survive it. You move heaven and earth to cure them. That's how we do as humans, right? That's how this works. Understanding how we got here and now coping with what we have to do to try to survive it are two things that we can keep in our heads at the same time and two things that we can keep in our soul at the same time. That's how this works too, right?
No, because the president is like not your problematic fave, your problematic friend. He's the president. He's control over other people's lives. And normally I am not impartial to someone's recovery like I am with Donald Trump's. I am very partial. I want them to get better. I in a lot of cases, even if the person's very, very bad, I would want them to get better. But in this case, this guy has caused massive economic suffering by making the coronavirus crisis worse. Massive human suffering by making the coronavirus crisis worse. 209,000 people died from this crisis under his watch. So many of those deaths were preventable, and he just downplays and blatantly ignores and disrespects public health and all the science and all efforts people are doing very, very valiantly so to try and get this virus in place. Like, that is what's going on here. That he is in a position of power and actively aiding and abetting the spread of the coronavirus. Like, that is a fact. And someone on Twitter perfectly responding to this saying, only way this analogy works is if Maddow was friends with a tobacco company exec with lung cancer who's gone out of their way to publicly downplay the health effects, and they're also an egomaniacal fascist who encourage white supremacist violence and threaten to destroy democracy. There we go. Perfect. In addition to Maddow's analogy here being brain-blisteringly insane, it's also totally unnecessary. If you see Trump as the sort of existential threat, it's kind of similar to what Glenn Greenwald was saying, but I think kind of he drew the opposite conclusion from this. Or, I mean, at least it encourages her viewers to believe that he is. I mean, that's the kind of conclusion that Glenn drew there. Is they just, apparently Maddow's just dying to go to cocktail parties with Trump all in all, which I don't buy at all. Or take, for instance, the New York Times, a paper so committed to the mirage of neutral detachment from its chief White House correspondent, can say this, quote, "For me, it's easier to stay out of the fray if I never make up my mind, even in the privacy of my kitchen or the voting booth, that one candidate is better than the other, that one side is right and the other wrong." So that's what he did. Literally admitting to you there that in reporting, in his job, he turns off his sense of right and wrong. That is insane to me. Absolutely insane. And, of course, that leads to the New York Times Get Well, Mr. President editorial. It is insane. Barack Obama even coming out wishing him well. Hillary Clinton doing it. I mean, all these people who, and this is kind of such an amazing symptom of, and it shows you how the elites never learn their lessons in any way, shape, or form. Like, if you think, if any of these people came down with the coronavirus, would Trump spare a thought for them any time of the day? No, never. That would never happen. Absolutely never. No, it just would not take place because they know, they understand, they understand that they are in it to win. Like, they are not playing around here. And they don't care about, they don't play by the same, they just don't play by the same rules. And that is so much a part of the kind of elite interaction. People are like, oh, the elites just really, they want to go hang out with Donald Trump, but they want to go be powerful around him. No, they think that he is an outsider. They think he's an intruder. They think he's not one of them. And he's not. He has totally kind of come in and take a big, fat, wet fart over everything that they held dear. And he's not going to be able to leave until January. And I mean, I think that's really, really like repulsive to them. But at the same time, they still felt compelled to play by the same rules, play by the same game, just because they think that this is still the same world. They think this is still they think they still have the reins on the situation. I mean, they've lost the reins for the situation for a long time, but we all kind of saw the curtain. The curtain came up after 2016. Like, nobody is fooling anybody at this point. It's getting ridiculous that people are even trying. And that is my last word for Newsflash here today. Thank you so much for listening. We will be back next Thursday. This upcoming, I mean.